Chapter 5. Sparse fog crept in from the eerily still Pacific. Bleak wilderness fronting icy peaks abutted the small town on all other ends. Its rotting signboard dangled by rusty hinges on a weary post, cawing weakly in the breeze like an ailing crow. It read, Kruger Sound, Alaska. Ivers mulled every nuance of the place's drear. The old fishing town looked worse for the wear than him. He finally encountered something more scourged by the years. That gave him a morbid solace after narrowly surviving his last bout with death. It still lingered in his bones and soul. He gazed out at the ocean to put it out of his mind. Seals were basking on a nearby iceberg. Terra firma was always safest. After decades assessing all angles in the remote Siberian wild, hunting the predator of all predators, looking for death in all directions, he knew a bad move when he saw one. Ivers closed his eyes in hopes of shutting out thoughts of death and of where it could flank or descend from at any moment, if only for a second. He could not ease his guard enough to breathe in the serenity. It was merely the lull before the storm. His eyes grew misty as he tried to recall his last moment of peace. There would be no getting any closer than that. Whatever calm there was in him had long slid into the void. It was time to begin. He searched every docked trawler. Empty. He scrutinized every rig, every building, everything he passed, and even every track and footprint on the dirt of the town's only road, from where it began at the docks to the old chapel at town's edge. Still, there was not a soul anywhere. Where had everyone gone? Where were Beaudry and McConnelly? They had surely arrived before him. Ivers again found himself standing before the lonely chapel at town's edge, as he had upon his arrival, out from the open wild. He climbed the steps and opened the double doors this time. He entered silently and stood off to the side. The standing room was scarce. It was filled to capacity. The townsfolk were mourning the man in the casket. It was a funeral. That explained the deserted town. Ivers quietly left the chapel and looked in every direction. He resumed scrutinizing every detail. The dead man had been a fisherman by trade, an avid outdoorsman for leisure. His adolescent son had only suffered minor injuries during the bear attack. A son who was nowhere to be seen, and who wasn't at the service, it seemed. Why would he not attend his own father's funeral? A father who a marauding horde of rogue bears had killed. Something improbable under normal circumstances. If Beaudry and McConnelly were on the right track, they'd be assessing the site of the bear attack after thoroughly having canvassed the town. That's where they were, Ivers deduced. Now, where would a boy who hadn't attended his own father's funeral be? What exactly had happened out there? Ivers turned to face the chapel and watched the procession head toward the nearby graveyard with the casket. He went on ahead. The drab, greenish hue of cold, dank, algal gloom adorned each tombstone, more so than the rest of the town. As Ivers neared, he discerned a haunting figure in the burial grounds, alone and glaring down at a freshly dug grave. It was a chilling sight even for Ivers' hardened eyes. Had the boy been there the entire time? The townsfolk made their way out of the graveyard as the casket was buried. Ivers lingered, observing the boy, who was still in the same spot, motionless and stoic. It was as if he had not moved in hours. The parish priest and town sheriff remained by his side, in silence. They occasionally exchanged solemn glances, appearing unsure what to say. The silence was then broken. I killed him. The poor kid had a stutter. Nothing about life was fair. What? The sheriff replied. Caelan, you did not kill your dad, the parish priest said. If I had only climbed the tree. God called him home, the parish priest said. That's all. We'll walk you home, soothed the sheriff. I'm going to get the bears that did it, I promise you that. They're the only ones at fault here. Ivers churned inside, all too familiar with that kind of guilt. But unlike the boy, he truly had blood on his hands. His missteps had invariably cost lives, including Isabella's. The boy had learned the hard way that if the cold or the terrain didn't get you, something with teeth would. For such was the nature of the Alaskan and Siberian wilderness. A young woman was sprinting toward the graveyard. Ivers subtly slipped a hand beneath his coat and gripped his gun as he discerned her face. She was in medical garb. The young nurse was not the target. Daddy! She yelled. Laurie! What is it, darling? The sheriff replied. The girl you found is alive! What? What girl? Asked the parish priest. The sheriff seemed unable to fathom it. What girl? The priest asked again. Another victim of the bears, we think. The posse and me found her the other day when out hunting for 'em, the sheriff muttered, mostly to himself, while staring at his daughter with disbelief. What exactly you sayin', sweetheart? 'Cause that can't be right. The boy grew deathly pale. A chill came over Ivers. He'd seen it, no doubt. Ivers slipped away hurriedly, loathing himself for feeling his struggles with faith creeping back. It had made him soft, weak, derelict, unfit to continue. Faith was all one had in this line of work, but his was fading and time was fleeting. He was going to kill it this time, after breaking it, to make everything right.